So Tracy Mcgrady believes that Giannis Antetokounmpo has hit his wall. This is it for him. So that's what I want to talk about in this video today. I want to welcome you guys to the conversation. Again, this is Charles here. Welcoming you guys to the channel. So yesterday I was watching ESPN, The Jump, and Tracy Mcgrady was on there with, I think it was Ramona Shelburne or someone else. And they were there talking about the matchup between Kawhi Leonard and Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is supposed to be a rematch between the regular season MVP and the NBA Finals MVP, in which Kawhi did not play because of load management. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but I want to focus on something that Tracy Mcgrady said when he was talking to Brian Windhorst, who was also on the show with him. And they were talking about the improvement of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, this season, Giannis is averaging about, I think, 5 assists, 27.7 points, and 14 rebounds. So his numbers are up, especially with rebounding. So they were asking T-Mac, they were like, hey, how do you think Giannis is going to fare moving forward? Do you think he's going to be able to keep up these numbers, or his numbers going to get better? You know, what is your feeling about him? So Tracy Mcgrady gave a candid assessment of what he believed, where he believed Giannis Antetokounmpo is, and where he believes that he can go in the future as far as his basketball skill set and improving. And he said that he believes that that Giannis has actually reached his pinnacle. And in this interview, and in this segment, they were showing about just how much more confident Giannis is with taking perimeter shots and all of these different things from the three-point line. They said he's been shooting more but missing more. And T-Mac seemed to be a little bit skeptical about his ability to be an offensive player from the perimeter. Obviously, we all know what Giannis Antetokounmpo can do with his, with his ability to attack the paint, shrink the defense, with his, giant strides that he takes, and surrounding him with shooters makes him an extremely deadly offensive player. We all know this, and we also know about his defensive prowess and his ability to rebound and the physicality in which he plays with. But the question is, was T-Mac right? Is he right? Has Giannis hit a ceiling? And that's what I want to talk about in this video today. So for me, I don't think that Giannis has reached, the peak of his power, so to speak. And there's one reason for that. The reason I believe Giannis has not hit his peak is because I believe that his mind is going to eventually catch up to his body. What happens is when you watch a lot of great players, a lot of them tell you that they reach a certain point in their career when they're playing basketball where things slow down. They begin to move at a pace that's quite different from every other player on the court, and I don't think Giannis has gotten to that level. I think Kawhi Leonard has gotten to that level. I think LeBron James is at that level. I think Kevin Durant is at that level, and probably Kyrie Irving is at that level. James Harden, I wouldn't put him in that category because James Harden, again, is not very, very reliable under pressurized situations. So I'm going to remove him from that category. James Harden is an exceptional scorer. We all know this. We see the numbers that the video game numbers that he puts up on a nightly basis, but I don't think he's in that echelon of players like Kawhi Leonard and LeBron and other players like that. I think that's when we can really say that Giannis has truly hit his ceiling. Giannis Antetokounmpo is very young. I think he's like 24, 25 years old. His mind is still developing in basketball, to go by the words of the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who said basketball is a game that is thought, but that is like 70% between your ears, meaning how you think the game, how you see the game. And I think Giannis hasn't gotten to that level yet. It's going to take time for him to reach that, to get to that point where things seem very easy for him. He understands exactly where he wants to shoot. He understands his strengths, but also he understands his weaknesses, and he doesn't go outside what works for him. Obviously, you can see that he's still experimenting with his abilities. He's still trying to improve. That's why you can see his three-point attempts have gone up this season versus last season. His confidence is growing, so he's still in experimentation mode. Whereas if you look at someone like MJ or LeBron pretty much knows what his offensive game is. Now, sometimes what happens with LeBron is that he strays and he tries to become a perimeter player, a shooter, and sometimes that works for him, like in game one in the finals against the Golden State Warriors, where he was hitting shots from everywhere when he put up, I believe it was 51 points in game one. And what made him able to do that was his ability to hit perimeter shots. But that's not something that LeBron does. LeBron is not going to be able to shoot 50% from the field overall if the majority of his shots are coming from the perimeter. That's not his game. He's not that type of player. Whereas if you look at someone like Kawhi, Kawhi understands exactly how to get his bucket. He picks his spots. And if you look at Kawhi, especially this season, if you look at where he operates from on the floor, it's all from the mid-post area, from the top of the key, and it's all mid-range shots. The majority of his shots come from the mid-range because he understands that's where he is most effective. He's not James Harden, who is taking 8, 9 threes a game, because that's not what he does. So I think Giannis hasn't gotten to that point yet, and because he hasn't gotten to the point where he completely understands his game and himself, I don't think that he has hit his ceiling. That's my only thing, that I don't think he has. Now, some people may say as time goes on and his athleticism begins to wane, then he will need to have a reliable perimeter game. So that point hasn't even come yet. Giannis is not even 30 years old. So I believe that there's a lot of room for him to improve. He's a hard worker. He's always training, working on his game. And I'm not ready to put the cap on top of his head and say, okay, what you see from Giannis is what he's going to be forever and ever and ever. And also, another thing we have to look at when we're talking about if Giannis has hit his ceiling or not, we have to talk about his leadership. As time progresses, generally, Pantheon great basketball players, their leadership begins to enhance as time goes on because they have more experience, they've seen more things, and they're able to become better teachers. So Giannis hasn't been through any of those stages just yet. He's just now, it was just last season, I think he made it to the conference finals against the Raptors. So, he still has a long way to go. So I don't think that Giannis has hit his wall. I think if you're assessing him just by the raw numbers, then you may want to draw the conclusion and say, I don't think he's going to be a better perimeter player and all these different things. But I think it's a little bit too soon. Now, let me just say this. Tracy Mcgrady is a Hall of Fame basketball player. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend that I know more about basketball or I can assess basketball better than he can. However, I'm just giving you my opinion on the matter, and I'm just looking at it from the angle that I have as a fan and as a consumer of basketball, and I'm giving you my opinion, my honest assessment as I see it. And I think that there's still room for Giannis to grow. A lot of people out there think so, others may think not. So, with that being said, what I want to know from you guys is, do you agree with T-Mac? Do you think that Giannis Antetokounmpo, this is it? He's at the peak, and from this point, he's just going to level out, stay at this level for the next, 4 or 5 years, and then begin to decline? Or do you think that there's another gear that Giannis can get to where he can see the game in a different way and affect the game, not just from an offensive standpoint or physicality standpoint, but from the way he can teach and lead his teammates? So that's what I want to know from you guys. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. So let me know what you think. I really want to hear from you guys about this because I think it's going to be a topic that we're going to be debating all throughout the season, and I'd love to get the feedback to hear from you guys what you think about it. So leave a comment in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you do to get some of our latest and new hot basketball content. With that being said, this is Charles here from DreamersPro. Wishing you guys a great day. Peace.